But as my presentation is called Build and Run Your Startup in the Human Cloud. And just to get in on what the cloud is, do you have any examples of the cloud is today? Yeah, Dropbox, that's a good one.
Google Apps.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's Amazon where you can store your website, and there's something called Salesforce where you register all your customers. There's things for finance, and I don't know if you can call PayPal a cloud solution. You go to some place, put it down and put it on your website. So we're seeing this massive trend of everything just going up somewhere on the internet, and our part of it is what we call the human cloud. And that is all the people all over the world with their own companies sitting ready to help you. But before I jump into the Elance part of stuff, then I'll tell you about my former job at a company in Copenhagen, and that was called Vintage and Rare, which is a global platform for instruments, or the world's finest instruments, we like to say. And what we did there, we were based in Copenhagen, so when you're gonna hire somebody, he costs $1 billion and he destroys your business right away if he's not a success. And we also had to grow rapidly because we were a startup and didn't have a lot of money, so we had to be creative. And at that point, I read the book called 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Maybe some of you have read it. And I saw the company Elance named, and I thought, okay, I'll go check that out. And okay, so we were a music business, so I had to find, okay, how can I try this out? And that was 2.5, 3 years ago, and MySpace were still a little bit alive. And so I thought, okay, I'll find a guy who can sit and add MySpace friend for us, because then we can, the more friends we have, the more people we can advertise to. So actually I found a guy or a student in India who just wanted to earn some money, so he said, okay, I can work 4 hours for you a day, and so I paid him $1 per hour, and he just added MySpace friends for 4 hours per day. And just to give you a tiny example of how we can do it. But as we started using Elance, we started building an operation running 24/7 around the world. So when I came into the office in the morning, I would already have Ravinder, Rahul, and Raikumar have been working for 3 hours. I've been sleeping the last 3 hours, so they've just been working. And then I could sort of take the brief with them, get them to do some more, or review what they have done. And then when I sort of get back to my normal work, I could sort of talk to the guys in Europe who are working at the same time as me. And when I left the office, I need to inform Jill and Bill in the US what they were supposed to do while I go home and play football or sleep or whatever I wanted to do. So we slowly got an engine running 24/7, even though we started out 2 guys and built the company up to 6 guys locally. And so that's also my argument when people say, are you not hiring locally or something like that? We are, but you're also hiring globally because you need skills to grow your business, and then you can hire locally again. So it's sort of an interchange between hiring on-site and online. You have to find that out. Elance, this is our homepage. Have any of you tried it? No? Have you tried any of our competitors? Yeah. There's sort of it's a race right now on winning this business, because there is something called Odesk, Freelancer, Elance, and I think we're the 3 big guys, and then we try to beat the rest. And I can say from using Elance that I think that's the best product, and I think the users on there are of the highest quality, but you can find out if you start using it. So the human cloud in our terms is Elance, which is a platform where we invite people who are ready to do some work, and then we have companies all over the world sitting and having something that they want to do, add MySpace friends, build a website, or do budgets or whatever. Plenty of, whatever. Yeah, just a short note. When you have something that you want to do, you could press post a job, write the job title, do a little description, maybe give it a few categories, and then you press post free, and then within 24 hours, for most jobs, you have 10 or 20 people ready to do the job for you. But just to give you an idea about how big our site is we have 1.5 million now ready to work for you. We have 40,000 clients, which are people who hire. Then we have 70,000 jobs posted the last 30 days. So it's really rolling really fast, and we are growing when we compare to last year, 50% every month right now. So you see, whatever job you post, the average is still 8.3. So even though you think it's a really strange thing that you're posting about, out of 1.5 million, there's always somebody who can do it for you. And then we've just turned $500 million in total payout to contractors. So that was a big milestone, and we expect to double that actually within 1 or 2 years or something like that. And as you can see, people get a very good feedback when a contractor performs a job, you have to give a review, because that sort of strengthens the community, because every time you also have to rate them bad, because then you're taking care of your neighbor, so he doesn't hire anybody who does a bad job.
Does the contractor and the business both get ratings? Or is it just the contractor? So like, will the business get a rating, for example, for being reputable?
It's both. You get rated as a payer as well, don't you?
You have a fill rate that they can see. Amount of jobs posted, amount of paid, but I'm not sure you have the stars. Actually, I don't remember whether you have the stars.
There's some way of knowing, like, if it's
yeah, you can see if you did not pay for the job, or there's something called disputes also. So if you have encountered a dispute, like on eBay as well, where you can see if you're a bad or a good client as well. But let me just jump into who these contractors are. I've just taken 10 examples, and I bet you already can think of a lot more now. Web developers, mobile developers, virtual assistant, content writers, market researchers, SEO expert, lawyers, graphic designers, social media, lead generators, and all sorts of stuff. So again, going back to the MySpace example, all businesses have something that they can outsource. Or if you just sit here, maybe you work for PayPal, but maybe you have an entrepreneurial dream, you can just sort of start to... And I'm building websites myself in my free time, because I can just hire somebody and then they do the work, and then I can check in the evenings sometimes if they do what they're supposed to do. So it's great. So let me just explain a little bit, unless there's any questions.
No, that's good.
Dive into it.
Are you going to go for trends?
For trends?
Trends, i.e. who's best or who's pushing who's like Asia, Replicast.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me do that in the end, because we can see that. So what you do is you hire somebody, you manage him, and you pay him. And we're actually a PayPal partner. Mm-hmm. So when you're paying somebody, you submit it through PayPal, or you register a credit card, or I think that's the most common used versions we have. But you post a job, then you get 10, 20, maybe 5 sometimes candidates. Then you look at them, check out their portfolio, their ratings, what have people said about them before. Then you can start asking questions, maybe set up a Skype interview or whatever. And then you press, I take him. And you're allowed to negotiate however you want. Don't want to pay that, or you have to do it faster. Or that's up to you. And I've actually become a pretty good hustler by using Elance, because they're also sitting at the other end. They want to get the best deal, so you have to be really firm about what do you want and what don't you want. So you select, okay, is it a fixed price job? Build my website, then I'll pay you. Or is it an hourly job, like adding MySpace friends every 4 hours every day? And then you sort of define what works the best for you. Then you agree to terms, start the work, and then you have something called workrooms on Elance. We really don't want to be perceived as a job board where you just post a job and somebody hires, but you are working on Elance, and that has a lot of advantages for you that I will explain in just a second. And then the last part is just paying the customer. Yes, I wished about that one. So when before somebody starts a job, you fund the job through something called escrow. So you're telling the contractor, I got the money, you do the job, and then I'll release it for you, because then he knows I can start and I'll get my money. And if there's a dispute, you don't know what to do, then because you have used Elance, all information are in there already. So if there's a dispute, Elance reads through the process and just see, okay, you said that, you said that, you said that, this is how it's going to be. So you have a little courtroom that can help you out, because it happens sometimes, but I rarely see something like that. Yeah, then you can set your job. If you're building a website, then you can divide it into phases, so you only pay for 2 phases or 3 phases. And if you think, oh, he really sucks, then I'm not gonna pay him or use him for the last 2 phases. Then you put in another guy. And then there's the property rights, and you have an NDA as well. So everything that your contractors build is protected by the copyrights, because you ordered the job, so it's clear to see that it's your idea. And then there's something called work view, and which is if you pay by the hour and you don't want to pay him for sitting on Facebook or looking at YouTube videos or whatever. So it's just like an old clock. You press start, and then it takes a screenshot of your screen every 10 seconds. And then if you don't trust him, you can go in and look at the work view thing.
That's really Big Brother, I think you're watching what they're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. So you just get pictures every 10 seconds. But you don't have to use it. But if it's a new connection and you're a little bit unsure, then you can. Would you like to use the work view just for today or tomorrow? But it's a good way to get started, because you can see, okay, he's not fooling around.
10-second Facebook check.
Yeah. So and that's why we're here, because you don't just hire somebody on a job board and he's sitting in India and just don't deliver ever, because you have everything here and a lot of advantages, and we take only 8% for giving you the job and helping you find the talent and making sure that it gets on in the right way.
You said 8%?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I should explain that. As a client, you just pay the amount that he demands. So the contractor has to put 8% on top of what he wants.
Okay.
So you don't have to think about it. So here's some reason why people like Elance. People, of course, save a lot of money because they don't hire here in Britain or in Denmark, but they can hire people just from Romania or Greece, or India. That's the main focus for people in the beginning. But then you also start to look at I need to get quality. As I told you, how many can find a niche expert in your own network within 24 hours? Say I need an SEO specialist who can move my site up from rank 20 to rank 5 or something like that, and he needs to start tomorrow. Maybe you know 1, maybe you know 2. If you post a job on Elance, he'll be ready for you tomorrow. Maybe that would take you 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I don't know. But that's really good for startup companies, because you see an idea, you really need to go for it right away. And then the vintage and rare example, we sort of had the business running 24 hours a day. Not always in the weekend, but normally 24 hours a day. And you get the geographic reach. You can hire talent from wherever, and not only in your own region, and then increase visibility and a whole lot of other things. Brainstorming. So we don't have time for that, do we? So how do you do this? You identify what are the resources and skills that we have in our company. What could we sort of help? I sometimes say that you can use Elance in the beginning for the nice to have stuff, because then you can just experiment and get better in learning by doing, and just identify a few products and can start by this and then integrate it more and more. So find out what you need. And of course, not the core resources like meeting your customers or whatever your business you're doing. You don't want DHL to hire somebody else to do the freight. You want to keep it internally. What of the identified things can you do remotely and you don't have to sit here? And the one you find is able to speak English, because that's a huge benefit. So consider if it's something you need to do short term versus long term. And actually, I clearly recommend doing it short term initially, because you need to learn how to do it and find the right way to cooperate with these people. And then name someone your internal champion at Elance, because it takes some time to get good at it, so to speak. And so select somebody who's responsible for it rather than everybody, because then there's the normal issue about who gives feedback, who goes and pay him, and who does quality assurance and all that sort of stuff. So have somebody being the outsourcing manager for you internally. We don't have time for this, but just want to say, if you go to Enterprise Nation, we have a $50 credit. It's actually 75, yeah, on your side. It's normally $50, sorry about that. But that means we're actually gonna... Hey. But it means that we are gonna pay the contractor that you hire instead of you paying him himself. So you could identify some kind of small project, and yeah, if you go to this address or you click our banner on Enterprise Nation, you'll be taken to this page. You press post a job. You just a few clicks sign up as a client, and then there's paid for the work. Maybe you need a new logo or a business card or whatever, and you're ready to start.